Hello, once again, talking about God and DMT. It seems to be a thing that I get requested to talk about a lot, so here I am. So, the point of this video is I said in the last one to someone that it was irresponsible and dishonest to compare their experience on DMT with my experience being completely honest, awake and sober, and I will go into the reasons for that. Now, as far as I'm concerned, God should be accessible by absolutely anyone and everyone, and that means you should not have to buy a ticket for it from a drug dealer, and you should be able to be awake and sober and not need a pipe, a lighter, or any tools, or a book, or you shouldn't need anything. If you want to have a relationship with God, if it's real, you should be able to do that anytime you want without anything. You know, if you woke up naked in the middle of space, it's probably a good time to want a relationship with God if you don't have one. But yeah, if you woke up, or I say in a field, if you wake up in a field with nothing, completely naked, and you wanted to communicate with God, you should still be able to communicate with God when you're there, when you don't have your pipe, your lighter, and you have no drugs or your phone or anything else, right? So that's the scenario we're comparing, is that guy in a field waking up with nothing, the experience of God for him. He won't be able to have a DMT experience. He just won't, because he's in a field, he doesn't have DMT. So that's the reason I think it's a bit I'm so sorry about this, I'm having some trouble talking. It's dishonest and it's disingenuous to compare the two things. So that was the first point. The second point I wanted to make was, for the people who are sincere and they really do want to connect with God, those people have generally done loads of drugs. They've had that lifestyle. Like when I was an atheist and I was doing loads of drugs, those people are searching for something. That's the reason they take drugs. Life is not giving them what they want, so they're trying to find, and they're trying to shortcut, because that's the life that they've lived so far, is they find shortcuts effective. So they're trying to find a shortcut in order to reach God. And the shortcut which they have found is, a quick smoke on a pipe, and then bang, there you go, you got your experience. Although you do have to be asleep to have it. So I would call it a dreamlike experience, or a dream state experience, rather than a real life one. And that's fine. Like I said in the other video, it sounds a lot of fun to actually be on DMT. And if it's legal in your country and it's a safe thing to do, and you're happy to do it, then you've got my blessing. Go right ahead and do it. But for most people, including myself, living in the country that I live in, for a start, DMT is a Class A drug. It's illegal. So for me to encourage people to do that, I'd be encouraging criminality. And I don't think God would be happy with me if I did that. If I led my brothers and sisters who, were listening to me, and I was leading them because they had listened to me, if I told them that in order to reach God, they need to buy a ticket, and that ticket comes in the form of a small block of DMT solid, synthetic, that they bought off a drug dealer, then, it would be irresponsible for me. And not to mention, it might be dangerous for them, which brings me to my other point. Not everyone is going to survive smoking DMT. Like, I wouldn't. My body's weakened from life, various illnesses and injuries and whatever. If I were to smoke DMT, the probability is, once it had gone through my system, I probably wouldn't die. I'd end up in hospital and I'd be treated and I'd recover. But the point is, because of the disability that I have and the condition that I have, any hard drug smoking is likely to put me in dire straits. It's going to put me in serious danger. And that is if I have a good trip. If I have a bad trip, I probably will have a heart attack and I will straight up just be dead. I will never recover from that. So I'm going to be bringing sorrow into the lives of the people I love, my family, my friends, people who care about me. They're going to be negatively affected by the fact that I took that shortcut. So I can't, in all honesty and in good conscience, promote that and encourage people to do it. So that's off the menu for me. So like I say, I'm not having a go at people that do it. It's fine, go and do it. But me personally, I would not ever advise it. And I certainly wouldn't agree that it's a real life experience of God. It just seems to me like a dream state. You have to be asleep after you've done the drug. And then once it wears off, you can't get back to it. Like the Clockwork Elves thing, it sounds great. but you'll never see a clockwork elf in real life, right? You just won't. No one's ever seen a clockwork elf in real life, a real one, because they don't exist. So that part of the experience is not true, not real. I really want to go on at length about that, but these videos are going to, become increasingly long and boring, so I'm not going to do that. So yeah, for the point of today is not everyone has access to DMT, and not everyone will survive the experience of smoking DMT, and not every person lives in a country where it's even legal. So they're the principal reasons why I don't encourage that approach. Not because I think DMT is bad or the experiences are bad, or I'm sure anyone who has a DMT experience and does have these amazing hallucinations, which their brains are creating for them, people forget your brain has created that whole experience for you, and you have just accessed it by doing the DMT. So it probably is beneficial to you. It probably does make you feel like you're a better person for the experience, and it probably wasn't dangerous for you if you haven't got any of the things that I've suggested, or if you were in a place where it was legal. It would be perfectly safe if you knew what you were doing. So fine, but it isn't a God experience. Okay? So that's the end of this video, and I'll catch you later.